Today, we're going to be looking at how you, the normal Ark Raiders player, can make money consistently, especially when playing solo. Forget all the clickbait, how to make 500k an hour videos. Forget all the go to this insane loot spot videos that just make everyone go to the same place over and over and turn it into a repetitive PvP hell. What I'm going to go through today is tips and best practices that you can apply to how you play and where you go that will help you grind out money in Ark, whether it's for your 5 million target for the expedition or just generally to make money without needing to rely on lucky streamer RNG, PvP skills, or huge amounts of hours played. This is aimed at solo players, it's aimed at players who want to avoid as much PvP as possible while they do this, it's aimed at players who don't want to risk high tier gear, but I'm also going to tell you why free loadouts are not the thing to use here. I thought the 5 million target was pretty crazy at first, but now that I've looked at the numbers, it doesn't actually feel too bad. We're going to dive into all those numbers and look at exactly what I managed to make over a 5-hour period doing stuff that any Ark player can do, and then I'm going to explain how and why I did it that way. So stay tuned for all that, and I'll also show you the exact loot route for my single biggest run at the end of the video as well. So first, an overview of my money run. I did a 5-hour solo stream focusing on a few key points that I'll run through in just a minute. During that session, I made roughly 750,000 total in cash. I basically sold everything I extracted with, apart from a couple of things that I might have needed. So I gained 750 in cash and a little bit in stash value as well. Over the course of that 5 hours, that means it's about 150,000 in pure cash profit every hour. And that was about 20 raids over the course of 5 hours in varying length. Some of those where I'd reset straight away, some of them were almost full length, but that averaged to about 37,000 profit per raid. That might not really sound like a lot, but if you're time efficient and don't need to keep crafting new kits and just sell everything you find, you'll soon chip away at that 5 mil figure. I only got killed one time during that entire 5-hour run. That was by a player. Hey buddy, we could be friends. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh dear. I got downed once by my own stupidity, but I managed to crawl very slowly to an extract thanks to the augment I was using. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh, I panicked. I panicked a little bit. Can we be bothered to attempt to crawl to an extract? 300 meters. I do have the rig that would let me crawl. I'm not sure it's going to be worth the investment of time. And I only even got attacked by players a handful of times in the entire day. And I think only one of those I actually had to kill to defend myself in the entire session. And the rest I just ran away from. After that session finished, that put me on 1.8 million in cash. So I'd nearly doubled my cash assets in 5 hours and 650k in stash value, giving me a total of about 2.5 million total value. So another 2.5 million to go if I wanted to hit the 5 million stash value required for the bonus 5 skill points given by the expedition. So at that rate, it's going to take me about 17 more hours of gameplay over the next 13 days we have remaining in order to hit that target. That's with the expedition window opening on the 17th of December and closing on the 22nd of December. If you want to check your own stash value, you can select everything in your stash as if you're going to sell it, and it will then tell you the total value of those items. Just make sure you don't sell them all accidentally unless you want to. You can multi-select on console by holding down the left trigger, that's LT on Xbox or L2 on PlayStation, and then clicking select on different items. That's what I did here 180 times. And on PC, there's actually a thing where you can load up to the expedition page and then change your computer's date to a date after the 17th of December, and it will show you a little thing that shows your actual total stash value if you can't be bothered to add it up yourself. And if you think that having 2.5 mil value already is a lot, and I'm a streamer who's been no life in the game since launch, I've only got 109 hours currently played on Ark since released, which is about 2 to 3 hours average per day. Probably 75% of that is solos as well. It's a decent amount, probably above average, but it's not a crazy amount. I spend more time probably making videos about Ark than I actually spend playing it. Just as a point of comparison, I remember when Skyrim first came out, years before I did YouTube as a job, I took a week off work and I put 80 hours into it in a single week. And I know for a fact there are plenty of you out there who aren't streamers and people who even have jobs and families who have probably played it more than I have. Of course, if you play 2 hours a week, then maybe you're not going to be able to get all of the endgame content unlocked and completed for the expedition in the first season, and I think that's kind of fine. Why I bring that up is that I just wanted to show that these kind of numbers are relatable to people who are playing the game a decent amount. You don't have to be going crazy on it. You don't have to be putting in insane hours and letting your family starve in order to achieve this 5 million figure, even though it might seem daunting at first. Of course, you don't have to hit 5 mil or even do the expedition at all, but if you don't have any interest in it, then you're probably not watching this video. So let's take a look at these specific tips and approach that I think you should take to make money reliably. First out, let's talk loadouts. I think free loadouts are kind of a waste of time for this. I know lots of people just saying run a free loadout, run in, grab stuff and go, and that can be kind of effective. But it's so cheap to grab an augment and a basic gun, you might as well craft the best looting augment you can, bring a level 1 or 2 gun that you feel comfortable using, really just against Ark bots, because we're not really worrying about PvP very much, and you're going to make a lot more money doing that. I took in an anvil because I had lots laying around, and I found tons of anvils for the session as well. My plan was to just always run a tier 2 anvil. I ended up running a tier 3 after a while because I picked one up from somewhere, so I just used that. And I'd then take a small amount of ammo for it, along with some basic meds, and I just tried to keep that cost down to a minimum whilst not using up too much of my carry weight or inventory slots. I think an anvil or a ferro is a good shout for this, as heavy ammo is most effective at dealing with a lot of Ark enemies. Just to look at that comparison between augments, if you're still convinced that running a free loadout is the best way to go, if you run a free loadout, you have 35 total carry weight. Keep in mind you can get an extra 10 carry weight if you have the survival skill broad shoulders maxed out, which I do. But talking without that skill, the free loadout gives you 35 carry weight and 18 total slots with no safe pocket. If you make the mighty investment of 6 plastic and 6 rubber to make a Mark 1 looting augment, you're going to get 50 carry weight, so an extra 15 carry weight, and 23 total slots including 1 safe pocket, so an extra 5 slots, a safe pocket, and a bunch more carry weight. Making the Mark II looting augment is still only 2 electrical components and 3 magnets, which again is very cheap. It's worth 2,000, which is nothing to anyone that's trying to grind 5 mil. That's going to give you 60 carry weight and 31 total slots with 2 safe pockets. So that's nearly double the carry weight of a free loadout, 13 more total slots with 2 safe pockets. Then if you do happen to have a blueprint for one of the pink rarer augments, the Mark IIIs, I have the Mark III Looting Survivor one, for instance. Both of these different augments require 2 advanced electrical components and 3 processors to craft. This is worth 5,000, and they'll give you between 70 to 80 carry weight and 29 to 31 total slots with 2 to 3 safe pockets. I've been using the Mark III Survivor one because that's the one I really like using. This gives me 90 carry weight because I have that skill maxed out, along with 29 total slots, including 3 safe pocket slots. So for a tiny investment in materials, we can go in with a much better augment with loads more slots, with safe pocket slots, and a much higher weight capacity than a free loadout, allowing us to bring out loads more loot on each run, and also to safe box any especially good stuff we might find. My loadout of the Mark III Looting Survivor augment, tier 2 or 3 anvil, a few heavy rounds, and the basic meds I was taking was worth about 25,000. If you brought a tier 1 or 2 ferro and then the Mark II looting augment instead, that's down to around 10,000-12,000. So barely anything invested with a huge benefit over a free loadout. And at that point, the only benefit of a free loadout is just that it's a bit quicker to put together. Next, let's talk about PvP and our approach to other players. I did this all in solos during the day on EU. I've done the same sort of things in the evening on EU as well. I was avoiding night mode and storm mode, and also avoiding Stellar Montis. All of those tend to be a bit more PvP heavy, and particularly Stellar Montis, you bump into people up close, which is the highest risk situation. When you bump into people a bit further away, it's a lot easier to disengage and get away, even if they are aggressive. I had my game chat headset on and tried to talk to anyone that I saw and was friendly and chatty to them. I spammed don't shoot frequently. But even when players were friendly, I was also cautious and kept away from them mostly and just let them go about their business because you never know. If someone turned up at a place I was looting, then I usually just left and went and looted somewhere else to keep the pace up of the run and avoid losing anything. As we'll talk about in a minute with locations, I wasn't too precious about the locations I was looting. I just wanted loot to fill up my rig. If someone did start shooting at me, then I usually just ran off. This is why bringing a stack of adrenaline stims with you is absolutely critical, as you can keep running for miles. So long as they don't drop you immediately, you can just sprint away from them most of the time. Drop one of these stims as soon as you run out of stamina. It's going to max it out and you're going to be able to continue sprinting for absolutely miles, and they very rarely are going to get anywhere near trying to chase you down. These are very cheap to craft and you should always have some of these to hand in any raid. If you do get caught out and killed, then it's a tough break. You just got to reset, get back in. But if you follow the previous advice about your loadout, then it's only going to cost you a tiny amount to rebuy what you lost at the start anyway. And by following these tips and the next section critically about locations, you should have a pretty good survival rate. So location choice is one of the main reasons why we can keep making a respectable amount of money with minimal PvP. I tried out all the different maps, but really Dam, Buried City, and Bluegate generally offered the best games for me in terms of money versus time invested. Stella Montis is a bit PvP heavy, and Spaceport, while there are some good bits in the towers, for instance, where you can do these security breaches, if you spawn in late or not in a good spawn for those, then the loot on that map is quite spread out and it can take you a little while to get somewhere to try and acquire stuff and then get out again. I didn't want to focus on grinding one meta, make 500,000 an hour farming here clickbait video spots for the entire run, partly because it's just boring to do the same thing endlessly, and you'll probably keep running into other players doing exactly the same thing because there are 1,000 YouTube videos telling people it's the best way to make money. What I tried to focus on was this: go to the nearest high density loot spot you can that's near your spawn. If it's residential, then all the better. Fill up your inventory as fast as possible and extract once we've got to 60 to 80k inventory value, which is around when my augment will be full up. Or if the loot has dried up and the pace of the run is slowing down, then I might just go and extract anyway. You can hit that round total of 60 to 80k very easily in a mid-sized augment with just blue and green items most of the time. You don't need to be pulling rare loot here. And if I'm going in with like a 20-25k loadout, I'm getting 80k in the raid, I'm probably going to end up selling maybe 30 to 40k in stuff for cash after that raid is finished. High density loot spot doesn't need to be the best high value loot spot on the map that's hotly contested. Almost every large building on Buried City or Dam or anywhere in the huge underground area on Bluegate will give you a bunch of loot. And if it's quiet, you'll fill up your bag easily in a short time. Like I said, you're just trying to fill it up with blue items, maybe some green items. And if you have a decent sized augment, you're going to find you're going to get a good amount of money in there. I did several runs where I just did breaching cars and containers underground in Bluegate, residential buildings on Dam, residentials or hospital or space travel and research on Buried City. And all of these, I was able to adjust them to work with when I got favorable spawn locations or times, or if somewhere seemed busy and I needed to relocate. I took in hatch keys when I had some spare and used those for some quick extracts, particularly when I also had some spare key cards which I'd take in and try and do a keycard run and get a bit of loot there. If I spawned in late and it looked like it might take me a while to get to a good loot spot, and then that might have already been looted anyway, then I'd just go and extract straight away, maybe looting a couple of containers on the way, and then reset and go again. If I've been looting for a while and got my inventory up to like 50 or 60k and was fairly near an extract, I'd just go and reset and go again, rather than trying to spend another 10 minutes in the raid to try and get an extra 20k. Once you've filled up your augment and you're trying to sort of min-max everything, it becomes quite slow to keep adding value to that. And it's probably more time efficient just to go out with what you have and come back in again. When you are trying to min-max your inventory, by the way, if you want to see how much something is worth, select the thing you're trying to pick up and then select to swap it with the thing in your inventory, and you can look at how much the value of what's in your backpack changes when you swap that and see which item was worth more. I found doing all of these things instead of going to hotly contested high value spots meant I didn't run into that many players, and the ones I did run into were generally minding their own business. Also, knowing that you aren't really in a hotspot allows you to loot a bit more quickly without having to worry about setting up traps and listening for players as much. And if you have an augment with a decent amount of space, then I'd say filling up consistently with 75k or so with low risk is much more effective and reliable than getting nearer 100k but taking on a lot more risk and requiring you to hope players are friendly in hotspots or have to win fights to keep your loot. Minimizing that exposure to PvP allows us to bring in lower quality gear, which will maximize our carry capacity and also minimize any losses if we do die. So I wanted to talk about Lush Blooms runs a little bit at the end of the video here. These have been talked up as being a great moneymaker, and it's kind of true, but they're also overhyped a bit. I've done a lot of these for when I've done videos on upgrading Scrappy and workbenches. Basically, Lush Blooms is a map event that is sometimes on, so you can't grind this very often anyway. It's not available 24/7, and it spawns in these little baskets on the map, and they contain loads of nature stuff, which stacks very high, doesn't weigh much, and sells for a lot of money. It's not much good on Buried City, but on Dam it's especially good, or anywhere where you know the basket locations. They have fixed locations that they can spawn in. On Dam, it's generally around small raider camps and ruins, and in the backs of ruined trucks, rather than in the main dense loot areas. This run here I did in my 5-hour stream. I had a clean run going around most of the baskets that I know. I think only 1 or 2 that I found had been looted already, and I was able to finish the raid with 140k in backpack value, which gave me 111,000 in stuff I sold for cash afterwards. So that's great and obviously a decent raid, but that did take me nearly the full 30 minutes, so it's only really around 200,000 an hour, just over, in an ideal scenario, instead of the 150k we were doing already, just going in and out quickly and making 30 to 40k cash per run. Lush Blooms is also on a map event, like I said, so you can only do this at certain times of day. That also limits its usefulness, and it's also going to be quite popular at the moment because of the money grind going on, because everyone's doing videos about it, so you can make 1 million credits an hour doing it. So there's a good chance the baskets might be looted already, or you'll bump into other players. So with that said, it is a good money maker to maybe throw in every now and again when it's available, and it's great if you need fruit to upgrade Scrappy, but it's not quite as insane as it's hyped up to be. I'll let this run play out so you can see the rest of these basket locations. Hopefully you got some useful information from this video, and that 5 million might sound a little bit less daunting now. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to stop by my live streams on Twitch and YouTube if you wanted to ask me anything about Arc Raiders. They did a basket. Oh. 6 olives though. They didn't want it. Oh, they don't know the true value of fruit. What an idiot. We've got this is my biggest raid of the day. 101 grand of fruit. But on top of that, it's a good strat for if you haven't leveled up Scrappy and you need the fruit. Just come on, if I can do this. Just get insane amounts of fruit, and like you can get basically everything you need to up Scrappy fruit-wise in one game. Did have a medium shield in there, but I'm not sure I'm willing to trade fruit for a shield. Might drop. I'm gonna have to drop some stuff here. It's a good little run there. I mean, it's pretty much the max I could carry as well, even with this quite large rig. But they're good, the fruit, because they sell for quite a lot. They stack quite high. And they don't weigh a lot. So you can, yeah, you can get away with carrying quite a lot of it. Oh, someone else looting up there. Extracting, I should say. I'm bringing this. No fruit left behind. I think sometimes you get another one in there, I'm sure. All right, I think that's going to be our haul of fruit there. How long we got on this? We can let this guy go and then press it. We got 140 grand in fruit on us right now. Wow, look at all that fruit. That is crazy. We've got 10 olives, 10 mushrooms, no, 19 olives, 13 mushrooms, loads of fertilizer. So that's everything except the mullein. 111,000. I mean, that's pretty good. That's like, we would probably pull in, what, 30k on an average raid today and stuff we actually sold. You know, maybe 30 to 40k. So that's kind of like 3 raids worth, really.